the Champions League, because I feel like a lot of people would have been pretty appalled at the number of power picks that CLG left on the board for Winterfox to pick up there.
Yeah, CLG's former coach, Monte Cristo, said he didn't like the draft from CLG. And if you're looking at it in that vacuum of, yes, there's a bunch of power picks on one side, and CLG's, what are they doing? It looks that way. But honestly, in my opinion, CLG knew they had better communication. Who would have thought 2 years ago that you could say everyone speaks the same language and have that be an advantage in the LCS? Because whatever. But they knew that with the power picks, CLG had every single lane that was stronger. So if they lane, CLG crushes. However, if they lane swap, CLG has better communication. Avalon is new to the LCS. Glebe is still a temporary substitute for the team. CLG also wins. So that's why I ended up liking that draft of strong lanes from CLG.
Well, and we saw CLG, especially in the bot lane, go for that early Gromp, which granted them the level 2 and out-traded Altec and Glebe heavily very early in the game.
Yeah, and that gave them the advantage bottom lane that they kept shoving up. And Afromu, every time he backed, he would go roam somewhere else and come straight down the lane. And that's the strength of CLG right now, in my opinion, is when they play pick compositions, they don't let other teams operate to their MO. They get you very early on and create this advantage that you saw there when Winterfox started getting the team fights. It wasn't working out for them because of how much of an advantage they created through Afromu's roaming, through them rotating towards objectives. I think even throwing 2 bans at Afromu, Annie and Blitz, is still not enough. So you might have to just let him have what he wants and then ban other things. Because facing the CLG team is very scary. You have to shut Afromu down somehow.
And we heard Link say that their confidence is at an all-time high.
Yeah, the potential intensifies again.
I know. It's always the potential. No. So I want to challenge you guys real quick to poke a hole. If you had to poke a hole in CLG and their current play, where would it be?
I mean, yeah, it was a good draft, but giving away those many power picks is never a great thing. Like, it's better to have your cake and eat it too, have the power picks and also win the lanes. And the secondary thing is that potential intensifying all-time high confidence, we're going to crush everyone, is a little bit of a dangerous mindset. So those would be the holes I could pick here. And they play a very high-risk style. Like, when they're at their best, they're just doing crazy stuff and they're making all these plays and they're really relying on their skill level. Occasionally that won't work out and it'll cost them a game or two.
Yeah, when you play a lot of pick compositions, what counters that is good team fight that groups up in the early mid game and starts shoving things down. Because in order to get a pick, the people have to be separated from the main flock. So I think that mid game team fights and early tower pushing is what could be the bane, and good communication so that you can execute a team fight appropriately.
All right, so hopefully they don't get overly confident, but they look good. I do want to see how the matches today have affected the standings, so we're going to pull those up for you. In first, it's CLG and Team Solo Mid with 4 wins and 1 loss. Then it's a 3-way tie for third with Gravity, Team Impulse, and Liquid. And then Cloud9, Team 8 are sharing 7th with Winterfox. And in last place, it's Coast and Team Dignitas with 1 win on the board. Now, we will be back tomorrow with another full slate of matches. Starting the day off, Cloud9 is going to take on Coast. After that, it's CLG versus Gravity, followed by Team Liquid and Dignitas. Then we'll conclude the day with TSM versus Team Impulse. Meet us back here. All of that starts at noon Pacific, 9 p.m. Central European time. Now, for the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and good night.
Woo!